So I was just watching this TV show on the History Channel, and this might be the first time I've had to stop watching a TV show and make a video in the middle of it because it's too damn good to talk about. I've been watching this show called Full Metal Jousting, and it's one of those competition reality shows, kind of like Top Shot, which I'm also going to talk about, but first I'm going to talk about Full Metal Jousting. This is amazing. They're trying to bring back this sport of jousting, right? And they got all these guys that are like horse trainers, people from like polo and like horse sports. They got those guys from medieval times, theatrical jousters, like the restaurant, you know, kind of guys. And you can really tell those guys apart from the other ones because they had long hair, because they're supposed to look like knights and stuff. And they got them in this realistic modern day armor. It's got like padding on the inside and stuff. And then they got this big grand guard on the left shoulder that they're supposed to smack with a jousting stick, right? And if you hit it, you get a point. If you break your stick off, that's 5 points because you hit it so good that it broke. And if you knock them off their horse, you get 10 points. And they do this for like 8 different turns with 2 different sizes of sticks. So, just like Top Shot, the host is a complete jackass, or he looks like a jackass. I don't know if Kobe on the Top Shot's actually a jackass, but he does look like a jackass with his crazy, straight, super white teeth. Anyway, this guy on Full Metal Jousting, they start off saying he's like a championship jouster, or he's like the #1 in the world or something. Of jousting, like who's jousting where he's the champion of this thing? And it's like, these guys are all competing, and I don't know if it's to be in the actual jousting, or if this is the actual jousting where you become the champion of, because they got like this big trophy, kind of a stand, like a championship thing there, but these are all amateurs. Nobody's ever done it before, except like theatrically, and they've never done it for real. So like, they've got these 2 coaches, and they pick teams, you know, and it's kind of interesting because it's like elementary school stuff, like the guy that gets picked last, like he's kind of like a joker, and he's like doesn't really take it seriously. Then he like gets up and he does it for real, and he like kicks everybody's ass, and he's like the first person to knock somebody off their horse. That was awesome. Like every time they get like breaking their lances off, you get psyched up for it, and it's awesome. Anyway, it was way better than I thought it was going to be. This is an awesome show. But I just watched these 2 guys. They're in practice. Like, they have these serious fucking injuries going on. One guy's already had to have 3 staples in his head from practicing. He had to sit out for like a week. So, like, these 2 guys, this one guy that's going to be in the joust, he's been chosen for the actual official joust, so they're practicing with him. He knocks the guy's other handle into his leg or something and pierces it, and he was like, had to go to the hospital, and he was out. But then he was like, okay, after seeing him get hurt like that, it affected me mentally a little bit. Then they show him like circle around, they get this other guy on his horse, he's like, just continue on. Exact same thing, he just jabs the other guy like in the nuts or something with his stick, and like he's hurt now, he's gotta go to the hospital. And that's where I had to stop it, because it's getting crazy. You gotta see this show if you haven't seen it. But, they had this one guy on there that got kicked off because a horse stepped on his foot, and he punched the horse in the face. And everybody was like, whoa, what the hell was that? And like, they had this big like animal ethics thing, and like it didn't look like that big of a deal. He just kind of like punched the horse to like get him off his foot, and like he said, I had to get him off fast, and that's how I figured you're supposed to do it. And they were like, I have a 0 tolerance policy on this, you're out. And he was like, I have to say, I think you're wrong, I did exactly what I was supposed to do. He's like, I can't even believe you're saying this to me. He just like walks off, the host of the show, the big jackass. And then his coach pretty much agrees with him, and everybody was like, well, you can't be doing that, get off the show, because it gives him a better chance of winning $100,000, right? So I thought that was kind of bullshit. And the host is like, he's always like, he's just acting like he's like, this everything is so serious, and he's in charge, and he's like the man, and this is such a serious thing. It's such a fucking sport nobody even watches. Nobody watches except me. I bet most of you out there have never even heard of Full Metal Jousting. I doubt anybody that watches my videos has heard of Full Metal Jousting, unless I've mentioned it to them on Skype or something. But this guy takes it so seriously, and it's funny, and like when they pick people to joust against each other, like whoever's in the lead, there's a black team and a red team, and whoever won the last match has control, and they get to pick who jousts who, and I don't think they get to pick whose horse. I think they both pick their own horse. But anyway, the 2 guys come up on this thing, and they just stare at each other, have like a staring contest, and it's so funny looking, and with the host in between them, he's like looking them in the eyes, he's like, the next time you see this guy's going to be through the helmet, on the end of a lance. And then it wasn't even true, because the one guy got sent to the hospital. Then he says it to the next guy. And then now he's sending people to the hospital. Or whatever, that was the last episode. I'm so confused. It's so awesome. But then, like, there's something I've noticed about Top Shot and this show is that they get a lot of ex-Marines on these History Channel shows. Now, I'm going to be bashing the Marines a little bit, and I know it's going to be controversial if anybody is stuck with the video long enough to hear this part. Because military people I've noticed on YouTube take their shit way serious, and they can't stand anybody that disagrees with the military. It doesn't immediately thank them for their service or treats them with the utmost dignity and respect that they must deserve, because they're absolutely always 100% accurate and correct about everything, and they can't make a mistake because they're the military. But I'm sorry, but you're wrong. It's just not how it works. It's not reality. I have no problem with the military in general. I'm just saying, from the people that I've seen on these shows, they are not representing the military very well. I don't know if that's everybody in the military, if that has anything to do with it, but from the people that I've seen, the military does not look very good. I think there was a guy from the Navy on Top Shot that was pretty decent. He was a nice guy, pretty laid back. Navy guys seem to me, they're kind of like, you know, perform tasks to standard. Take a break. Not take things too seriously. Check your ego at the door. Army guys, I've seen videos of like Army drill instructors versus Marine drill instructors. Army guys will actually tell you things, they'll teach you things, they're in a forceful manner, but they're actually giving you instructions. Marine guys, seems like their instructors just yell nonsense, and it's all about like standing exactly in a perfectly straight line and leaving, like, bringing the right kind of bag, or like everything is so particular with the Marines, and they just yell just to be a dick. They just want to be dicks. They all have these huge egos, and they want to like get you prepared for this kind of chaos in battle. Which, if you wanted to do that, do it when you're shooting your gun. Set off some fireworks, do some pyro, play some loud noises while you're shooting your gun. That'll get you prepared for chaos and combat. Don't do it when you're like trying to make your bed, or you didn't walk in a straight line. Stupid shit like that. Especially when you just got off the bus and it's like the first 5 minutes and you're chewing people out for stupid shit and they have no idea what's going on yet. That's kind of stuff I've seen in like some videos on YouTube. But anyway, when it comes down to business, what I've seen from Marines, I saw one guy in the Air Force that was kind of a dick. These guys love to stir up drama, it seems like, but the Marines especially, they're little bitches when it comes to like any sort of drama situation. Like they don't have a neutral. They're either pushing forward where they think they're doing good, or they're moving backwards in reverse and they're pissing people off trying to cause trouble. Like on this show, there was a guy that got drunk and he was being a dick. So they're just all having a good time, sitting around a table, and he just starts staring at this guy. And he's like, "Why are you flexing your muscles? You want to go? Let's go." He just starts on this guy because he didn't like the way he was flexing his muscles, or something just caught his eye wrong, and he just starts getting all mean with him. He gets him in a headlock and shit. And then the next day, he's all like, "Oh, I'm sorry," and he apologized and like tried to be a little cuddle bunny because he has no fucking control of his ego. The other guy that was a Marine, both the Marines, by the way, lost their fucking fight, their jousts. Completely. Lost horribly. They did bad. Another thing I noticed about Marines in particular is that they always have to let people know that they're Marines. They do this peacocking sort of thing where they always have like USMC shirt on, or they have a Semper Fi tattoo right across here or on their arm, or they have to say Semper Fi, or you don't see like a lot of Army guys. I don't know, maybe Delta Force, but like you don't see. I know there's like things about Navy guys having like anchor tattoos, but like it just seems like the Marines do it like way too much. They have either like a shitload of tattoos, and they always let you know that they're in the Marines, and they always have to do that talk, just like to let you know and intimidate you, make you think that they're better than you, or they're going to kick your ass, or they'll at least try to kick your ass, because that's what they do. They always have to try. It seems like a defense mechanism. It's like all this peacocking and tattoos and shit is just to like throw up this barricade to make it look like you're stronger than you are. Which I understand that's a good tactic in war, is to like make you look like your forces are way more than they are, or make you look like you're stronger than you are, or like intimidate the enemy. But then you get into civilian life and you still do it just to be a dick. You gotta let that shit go. They talk the talk and then they walk. That's it. Either they do good, they do bad. They just talk the talk to make it look like they're going to do good. And then they have 50-50 chances like everybody else. And if they do bad, they don't make any excuses for it. Or they get super pissed like a little baby and try to walk off the show, which is what the other guy did. The other guy was like, "Oh, I just feel like I'm being a negative hindrance to my team. I just want to leave." And he's like, "I have to have counseling with this other jackass that's the host." And it's like two jackasses sitting in the room talking to each other. And it's just driving me crazy. It almost seems like Marines, when they get 18, they join the military. And then they live with a bunch of guys for years and train, and they've never been on their own. They don't know how to handle being alone or not having something to do or just chilling. They can't chill. They just don't know how to chill. And they get all upset, and they're not really mature. They've just been yelled at their whole life, which is probably, I don't know, it takes a certain type of personality to be a Marine, I guess. You really have like this huge ego. It seems like if you're a Marine, you have this ego. You really need to do some pot, do some like sativas, do some mushrooms. I mean, a lot of people in my last video were saying like doing drugs is always bad and they don't know what you're talking about. But from what I've heard of DMT and other things, drugs can actually make you see what's really important, what's not important. Realize that you're just a tiny little fraction of the universe. Nothing you actually do ultimately matters, and you kind of like get some respect for like things that are bigger than you, and not have this huge ego that you're like the most important thing in the universe. And that's kind of what these Marines are like. They haven't had that ego check. So like Top Shot, also a really good show. I love watching it, but it's so fucking full of bullshit, crazy stuff, right? Last season there's this guy Jake Zweig who gets nominated for elimination after he's done all this psych ops, and he's trying to freak people out, and he's sleeping outdoors, and he's trying to put them off their game with mental tricks. And then he gets nominated for elimination. He just can't handle it. He's like, whoa, people don't like me. What the hell? I've never heard of people not liking me before. And he just like calls his wife to come pick him up, and he leaves like a little bitch. That's another example of a Marine that I've seen on these shows. Not saying it's every Marine. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of haters that don't like what I'm saying, but from what these shows on the History Channel are pointing out, this appears to be a thing with the Marines. Not so much with the other branches of the armed forces, but Marines particularly. They all seem to have a little bit of an ego, and they kind of like to start drama, but when I was a kid growing up, I used to see those commercials with the guy with the little pearl-handled rapier, what do you call that? The little sword. Everything's all pomp and circumstance and precision and honor and all these words they just throw out, and then when it actually comes down to it, not really so much. So this season on Top Shot, there's this guy who is a former grenadier. I don't know if that's Army or what, but that pretty much explains his abilities, because he's pretty much horseshoes and hand grenades with his accuracy. He can't hit anything really. This guy's name is Greg Littlejohn, by the way. And he looks like a dick. I'm looking at a picture of him right now. It just makes me smile looking at him because he's so fucking funny. He has this thing where he gets nervous or whatever, and he can't perform under duress. Or is there something going on outside that I should know about? Is there a party going outside in the hall? Alright, what was I talking about? Greg Littlejohn, horrible performance under pressure. He's a noob tuber. He's a grenadier. He's horrible with guns. He doesn't know how to aim. Like, they had this competition where he's supposed to shoot these 6 targets all in a row and not miss any. And he did horribly. And I can't remember how it turned out, because it's been a while since I watched the first few episodes. But when it comes down to the voting, he gets freaked out. He's made all these friendships in the first day or so. And, like, he's saying, like, I can't vote for this guy, and I can't vote for this guy. And they're like, what do you mean? You can't vote for him because performance? Or what? No, I can't vote for him because they're my friends. And he just gets almost in tears, crying and stuff. And somehow he ekes by. He gets voted for elimination because everybody knows he sucks. And somehow, like, he just wins. He does good on the elimination matches. Or this one, I think he tied and he used less bullets than the other guys, so he got to win because he used less bullets. And then, like, even when he's being trained, like, the guy's telling him, you know, I saw that you were being nervous in the thing, and he's, like, saying, like, this guy looks nervous. And this is, like, a real guy that was in the military, and, like, we depend on him for our freedom, or whatever they say. And they're just like, there's all these people out there with crazy personalities. Nobody knows what's really going on. People could explode any minute. He could come after me for talking about him on YouTube. Hopefully he stays on the show, so he won't be coming after me. I haven't even seen the next episode. Maybe he gets eliminated this one. But I think this next episode that I haven't seen yet is like a grenade launcher is in it, so maybe he'll actually do good. But this show, Top Shot, is so funny. I don't know why. The way they do it, like the first episode of this season, there's usually 16 people, and they branch them off into a red-blue team of 8 each. This time they eliminate 2 people on the first episode. So you get selected from all over the country out of all these people, and you drive all the way out there, take a plane, whatever, and then, like, the first day, 2 of you are going home. You just drove out here, now just get the fuck out. Like, you didn't even get to go to elimination round. You just get to shoot, like, I think an M14 carbine, and then whoever does the worst, the last 2 people get sent home. Right off the bat. And they're all hiking up this hill. Every time there's a practice or a competition, they all hike up this hill, and they all have this big knapsack, whatever, backpack full of stuff. And I'm like, I wonder what in the hell is in those bags. I've been spending so much time thinking about those bags. I know sometimes it's windy or maybe raining a little bit, and they might have a little light jacket in there. They might have some sunglasses or some shooting tactical glasses. Other than that, what is it, like an extra pair of shoes maybe in case they didn't get into some mud? Like sometimes they have like a mud puddle obstacle course kind of thing, but what could they have in the bags? I can't understand. Why would you need a bag every time? And they always, like, whenever you're voted for elimination, you have to pack your bags in case you're going home. This is on most reality shows. Why don't they just wait and see? See if you gotta go home, and then go pack your bags. Don't pack your bags every time. You know, they voted for elimination 4 or 5 times before you get eliminated. Who knows? And this one dude had like 3 pairs of shoes, and the other guy, Greg Littlejohn, when he packed his shit, he had like, this was the first fucking day, and he had like fucking shirts on the ground. He was like folding shirts, ironing stuff. He wasn't ironing stuff, but he was like perfectly folding everything. And like, they give you a blue shirt if you're on the blue team. You have that shirt. You can come without a shirt on if you want. They're going to give you one. Why do you have all these extra clothes? They had like a whole closet, like, with clothes. How long are they there? They're there for like 12 episodes, and then maybe like 2 days an episode, and somehow it stretches out to like 2 months. I don't know what they're doing all this off time. Like, just film all the shows in like a week and be done with it. And they got all this like little ritualistic kind of stuff. Like, this one girl and this guy had this kind of like handshake they made up and do this spin around kind of thing. She got eliminated, and then Greg Littlejohn gets all this, like, they nailed their targets to the wall. It started out like season 1, they put up their shirts like whoever got eliminated. Then they started doing this nailing targets on the wall thing. So he starts like, they had this little clique of people that were all friends, and they wore these little bandanas on their wrists to show that they were friends. It's so elementary school bullshit. So he takes her bandana and he puts it on her little target. He puts like 2 empty bullets on top of it and makes it all pretty like a little shrine. And it's just so funny. But at least this episode, or this season, when they split them into teams, this one guy was like, well, let's just all agree that today we're on the same team and not get all sidetracked on this red team, blue team bullshit. So this season they're a little bit more not split apart into teams like usual, but man, this show is fucked up. So then, like, they get to where they're using a Kentucky Flintlock pistol. And you gotta like put the powder in and the wadding and the ball, and you gotta tamp it down, you gotta pull the hammer back, and you gotta put gunpowder on it, and you gotta hold it until it actually blows up. Greg Littlejohn, like, he gets into these panic mode things where he didn't pull the hammer all the way back or something, and he's sitting there holding the gun like this, and he's just like, ugh. He's like this for like, I don't know, 10 minutes. And the other team, they know that he freaks out, and they're afraid to say, pull the trigger. Just pull the fucking trigger. Just let somebody else go, or give up or something. Like, he's freaking out. And it was like a pirate kind of theme, so you had to swing across this rope and then do all this loading and everything. And like, the other team is going back and forth. 3 guys go, 4 guys go, 5 guys go, and he's sitting here, he's still just looking and squeezing. He don't know how to do it. And then finally the ball rolls at the end of the barrel. And he has to reload. And he leaves the hammer cocked back with gunpowder and shit, ready to go off at any moment, and nobody says anything about it. He's just tamping this ball down in this Kentucky Flintlock. It's so funny. And he still won the elimination round. He's still in, from where I'm at right now. Oh my god, it's just so good. The fucking drama and the crazy shit. If you're not watching History Channel right now, you need to start watching History Channel, because it's something else. There was one guy on there that, like, they get this, they had to shoot from a sidecar of a motorcycle. And this one guy was like, oh, I really want to do that. Why didn't they vote me in for this elimination? I want to do that. And I was thinking, well, if you really want to do it that bad, you could talk to the guy. I'm sure he'll swap places with you if you want to get voted off the show, or have a chance to be knocked off the show. If you want to do it that bad, it ain't that going to be that big of an issue. I just like seeing all the personalities, and like, always one guy turns out to be like a fuck up, or one guy thinks he's an alpha male and they have to set him straight, or he actually turns out to be an alpha male, and it's just the personality clashes. So I don't like those Survivor type shows where it's just you vote people off based on what? I don't even know what they're based on. This is supposed to be more tactical, like you're supposed to, like, I don't know, they always, like, if you're on a team with people, you want to keep your team winning, that way you don't go elimination rounds, right? But then when you do go elimination round, they vote for the guy that did the worst to get the worst people off their team, which I would vote for the guy that did the best to get the best people off of the show, so ultimately I could still have a better chance of winning if I made it to the end. Which is, nobody ever thinks to do that, and nobody ever thinks to do it like, just vote for one person each, that way it's just random and you don't piss anybody off and mess with personality clashes and stuff, cause drama. They always just vote for the worst, or they like one guy that already got voted for, he'll pick somebody he doesn't like, and then everybody just kind of jumps on him. They just kind of follow the leader, and I guess that makes sense, because you wouldn't want to vote for somebody else, because then it would split the vote, and there's all this voting nonsense. But anyway, all these shows must be filmed by the same guy, because they make it look like everything is so serious. They're all like hiking up to this place. The hosts always stand there all like proud and straight, and everything's just so serious, and they stare down each other, and then like, season 1, or like episode 1, when the 18 people are there and the 2 people got eliminated, Kobe was saying like, Why don't you go ahead and say goodbye to all these shooters? I'm like, what do you mean say goodbye to them? You just met them like 5 minutes ago. It's not like they know each other. I mean, there is like people that know each other from shooting competitions, that they've all been in the same tournaments or whatever, and they kind of know each other, but pretty much all just strangers that just met, and they're all like hugging each other, like, oh, I hate to see you go. What are you talking about? You don't know them. And like the first day, people get eliminated, and they're all sad. Hate to leave you guys, but it just happened this way, and I gotta go. Anyway, it's a good show.